What if from today, nothing and nobody could control your emotions ever again? Imagine walking through life where insults bounce off you like water off a duck's back, where rejection doesn't trigger your insecurities, where betrayal happens around you but never to you because you saw it coming from a mile away. Sounds like a superpower, right? Here's the truth that Robert Greene, the modern Machiavelli, spent 30 years researching across 3,000 years of human history. The ability to control your emotions is the foundation of all power. Think about it. How many times have you let someone's words ruin your entire week? How often have you replayed a conversation in your head, wishing you'd said something different? How many bad decisions have you made while angry, jealous, or desperate? If you're honest with yourself, the number is probably embarrassing. Robert Greene, the author of the 48 Laws of Power, Mastery, and the Laws of Human Nature, studied everyone from Queen Elizabeth I to Henry Kissinger, from Pericles to Martin Luther King Jr., and what he discovered is simple: the people who shape history aren't the ones who feel the most, they're the ones who control what they feel. This video isn't about becoming cold or losing your humanity. It's about becoming unshakable. It's about building an emotional fortress so strong that nothing and nobody can breach your walls. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you 8 powerful lessons from Robert Greene's work that will transform how you navigate life, relationships, and power. You'll learn how to stop reacting, how to think with surgical precision, and how to carry yourself in a way that makes you impossible to control. But first, I need you to commit. Drop this in the comments right now: I am stronger than my emotions. Say it. Type it. Own it. Because the moment you do, you've already taken the first step. Let's dive in. Law number 1: master your emotional self, also known as the law of irrationality. Let's get one thing straight right now: you are not as rational as you think you are. Robert Greene opens the laws of human nature with a brutal truth: you like to imagine yourself in control of your fate, consciously planning the course of your life as best you can, but you are largely unaware of how deeply your emotions dominate you. Think about that for a second. You think you're making logical decisions, but your emotions are quietly pulling the strings. They make you veer toward ideas that soothe your ego. They make you look for evidence that confirms what you already want to believe. They make you see what you want to see, depending on your mood. And this disconnect from reality? This is the source of every bad decision you've ever made. Here's what this looks like in real life: someone criticizes your work. Immediately, you feel attacked. Your ego flares up. You get defensive. You fire back with excuses or counterattacks. And in that moment, you've just made an enemy, damaged a relationship, and looked insecure, all because you couldn't control your emotional reaction. Or here's another one: you meet someone attractive. They say all the right things. Your emotions light up like a Christmas tree. You ignore every red flag because it feels good. 3 months later, you're picking up the pieces of a toxic relationship, wondering how you didn't see it coming. Robert Greene says, one good piece of advice: try to never make decisions while under the influence of strong emotions. Doing so, on average, will hinder your decision-making skills. So what's the solution? Step back. Question your emotions. When you feel that surge of anger, jealousy, or excitement, pause. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? Is this emotion helping me see clearly, or is it clouding my judgment? Greene explains, the ability to look at your emotions, question them, and understand that you don't have to feel this way in this moment, and that you don't have to give in to your emotions, is half the process to mastering them. This isn't something that happens overnight. It's a practice. It's a muscle you build. But every time you pause instead of reacting, every time you question instead of exploding, you get stronger. Robert Greene calls this rationality, the ability to counteract emotional effects, to think instead of react, to open your mind to what is really happening, as opposed to what you are feeling. And here's the beautiful part: rationality doesn't come naturally. It's a power you must cultivate. But in doing so, you realize your greatest potential. The affirmation, I question my emotions before I act on them. Drop it in the comments. Law number 2, kill the need for external validation, from the 48 Laws of Power, Law 5. Here's a hard truth that most people never face: you are addicted to approval. You post something on Instagram and check your likes every 10 minutes. You make a decision and immediately wonder what people will think. You dress a certain way, talk a certain way, live a certain way, all because somewhere in the back of your mind, you're performing for an audience. Robert Greene says, so much depends on reputation, guard it with your life. But here's the critical distinction: guarding your reputation is not the same as needing approval. When you need people to like you, you hand them power over you. Your mood rises and falls with their opinions. Today they praise you, you're on top of the world. Tomorrow they criticize you, you're crushed. You've become a puppet, and they're pulling the strings without even realizing it. Robert Greene warns, men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. People judge by appearances. If you live your life based on their judgment, you'll always be chasing shadows instead of building real strength. Think about it historically. Every great figure, from Jesus to Socrates to Abraham Lincoln, was both worshipped and vilified. The same people who cheered for Jesus on Sunday were crying for his crucifixion on Friday. Public opinion is fickle. It's a wave. And if you build your house on that wave, you will drown. The fix: build mental autonomy. Autonomy means self-rule. It means your value doesn't come from outside, it comes from inside. When you detach from external validation, you become solid, unshakable, and free. Here's how you start. First, notice when you crave approval. Ask yourself, if no one clapped for me, would I still feel proud of this? If the answer is no, you're not living for yourself, you're living for an audience. Second, start giving yourself the validation you usually beg others for. Instead of waiting for praise, tell yourself directly, I did well. I'm proud of me. It feels strange at first. Do it anyway. Third, realize something liberating: the people whose approval you're chasing are too busy worrying about their own lives to think about you. You're not the main character in their story. So why give them so much power over yours? When you no longer need external validation, you become dangerous in the best way. People can't control you with praise or crush you with criticism. You stand firm in who you are, independent and unshakable. The affirmation, my worth comes from within. I don't need your approval. Type it. Law number 3, build a mysterious persona, from the 48 Laws of Power, Law 4. Here's something most people never learn: being predictable is dangerous. When people can read you like a book, they know exactly where to strike. They know what makes you angry, what makes you sad, what makes you desperate. And whether they do it consciously or not, they will use that information against you. Robert Greene's Law 4 is crystal clear: always say less than necessary. Think about the most powerful people you know. Are they the ones who overshare everything? The ones who post their ever thought on social media? The ones who wear their hearts on their sleeves? No. The powerful ones are mysterious. You never quite know what they're thinking. You can't predict how they'll react. And that uncertainty? It makes you cautious around them. It makes you respect them. Robert Greene explains, when you are trying to impress people with words, the more you say, the more common you appear. Here's what this looks like in practice: you're in a meeting. Someone challenges your idea. The average person immediately starts defending, explaining, justifying, talking more and more, digging themselves deeper. But the person who understands power? They pause. They smile slightly. They say, interesting perspective. I'll think about that. That's it. No defense. No explanation. Just calm, controlled silence. What happens in that moment? The other person is left wondering. Did I offend them? Are they angry? Are they planning something? That uncertainty shifts the power dynamic instantly. The principle applies everywhere. In arguments, the person who stays calm while the other yells looks stronger. In negotiations, the person who speaks last controls the outcome. In relationships, a little mystery keeps attraction alive. In social settings, people gravitate toward those who don't try too hard. But here's the key: silence doesn't mean doing nothing. It means choosing your moment. It means listening carefully, reading the situation, and waiting until your words will have maximum impact. Robert Greene calls this the art of timing. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. The affirmation, my silence is power. My words have weight. Law number 4, see through people's masks, from the law of role-playing in the laws of human nature. Here's a truth that will save you years of pain: everyone wears a mask. Your boss. Your friends. Your partner. Even you. Robert Greene dedicates an entire chapter of the laws of human nature to this concept, calling it the law of role-playing. He writes, people wear masks. The only way to see the truth is to watch their actions, not their words. Think about it. How many times has someone told you they were loyal, and then betrayed you? How many times has someone acted like a friend, and then talked behind your back? How many politicians promised change, and then did exactly the opposite? Words are cheap. Anyone can say anything. But actions reveal truth. Robert Greene teaches, see through people's masks by observing their behavior over time, especially when they think no one is watching. Here's how you do this. First, watch how people treat those who can do nothing for them. A person's true character is revealed not by how they treat the CEO, but by how they treat the waiter, the janitor, the subordinate. If they're kind to power and cruel to the powerless, you've seen their real face. Second, notice patterns, not isolated incidents. Anyone can be nice for a day. But watch how someone behaves over weeks and months. Do their actions consistently match their words? Do they follow through on promises? Do they show up when it matters? Third, pay attention to how people behave under pressure. Stress strips away the mask. When things go wrong, when they don't get what they want, when they're tired or angry, that's when the real person emerges. Fourth, observe their character through small things. Robert Greene says, determine the strength of people's character by observing their reactions to everyday events. Do they return what they borrow? Do they show up on time? Do they gossip about others when they're not around? These small indicators reveal more than grand gestures. The payoff of seeing through masks is massive. You won't fall for fake friendships, you won't be shocked by betrayal because you saw it coming, you won't waste years on people who were never really there. You'll make better decisions about who to trust, who to hire, who to love. Robert Greene warns, beware the fragile ego. People with fragile egos are dangerous because they'll destroy relationships to protect their self-image. The affirmation, I watch what you do, not what you say. Law number 5, never appear too perfect, from the 48 Laws of Power, Law 26. This one is counterintuitive, so pay close attention. Most people try to look perfect. They hide their flaws. They pretend they have it all together. They never admit mistakes. Big mistake. Robert Greene's Law 26 states, do not appear too perfect, it invites envy and resentment. Here's why: when you look perfect, you trigger something dark in human nature. People look at you and feel inadequate. They compare themselves and come up short. And that feeling? It turns into envy. And envy is one of the most destructive forces in human relationships. Robert Greene warns, beware the fragile ego. Envy is the most dangerous emotion because it operates in secret. Envious people won't tell you they're envious. They'll smile to your face and plot behind your back. They'll wait for you to fall, and when you do, they'll celebrate. So what's the solution? Strategic vulnerability. Show small flaws that don't really matter. Admit minor mistakes. Let people see that you're human. When you do this, something magical happens. People relax. They think, oh, they're like me. They're not perfect. And that disarms their envy. They stop seeing you as a threat and start seeing you as relatable. But here's the critical caveat, the key word is strategic. Don't reveal real weaknesses. Don't share insecurities that can be used against you. Don't overshare your fears or failures. Show them you forget your keys sometimes. Admit you're not great at remembering names. Laugh at yourself when you trip over words. Small, harmless flaws that make you human, not vulnerable. Robert Greene uses historical examples. Great leaders throughout history understood this. They would appear before their troops, share their soldiers' hardships, eat the same food, sleep in the same conditions. Not because they had to, but because it made them relatable. It made their followers love them instead of envy them. The affirmation, I'm human, not perfect, and that's my strength. Law number 6, submit to reality, the ideal apprenticeship, from the book Mastery. Here's a concept from Robert Greene's book Mastery that will change how you think about success. Most people want results immediately. They want the money, the status, the respect, without putting in the work. They want to be the CEO without being the intern. They want to be the master without serving the apprenticeship. Robert Greene says, submit to reality, the ideal apprenticeship. What does this mean? It means accepting that before you can be great, you must learn. Before you can lead, you must follow. Before you can create, you must understand. Greene studied history's greatest masters, from Leonardo da Vinci to Charles Darwin to Mozart. And he found a pattern. Every single one of them went through a period of intense learning and apprenticeship. Years of absorbing knowledge, practicing skills, making mistakes, and getting feedback. This is the first transformation in Greene's framework. Here's what the ideal apprenticeship looks like. Phase 1, deep observation. You watch. You listen. You learn how things really work, not how people say they work. You study the successful people in your field and figure out what they do differently. Phase 2, skill acquisition. You practice. You fail. You practice more. You build skills that compound over time. Greene emphasizes, if you're not excited about the field you're studying, you will learn at half the rate of someone who's truly excited about it. Passion accelerates learning. Phase 3, experimentation. You start applying what you've learned. You try things. Some work, some don't. But every failure teaches you something. Phase 4, finding your voice. Eventually, after thousands of hours of learning and practice, you develop your own style. Your own approach. Your own unique contribution. The problem with most people, they skip the apprenticeship. They want the rewards without the work. And they end up mediocre, never mastering anything, never standing out. Robert Greene warns, if you don't follow your passion in life, if you just drift, if you simply string along through a series of jobs just to make money, you will end up feeling very unfilled, very unhappy, and burning out. The solution, embrace the apprenticeship. Fall in love with the process of learning. Understand that every master was once a beginner. Every expert was once clueless. The only difference is they kept going when others quit. The affirmation, I embrace the process. Mastery takes time, and I'm willing to invest it. Law number 7, resist the downward pull of the group, from the law of conformity in the laws of human nature. Here's something uncomfortable that Robert Greene wants you to understand, you are much less independent than you think. Greene writes, we are all highly susceptible to the ideas of the people around us. You conform more to the opinions of the group than you might imagine. Think about it. In your workplace, do you unconsciously begin to adopt the attitudes, the style, the opinions of your colleagues? In your friend group, do you find yourself agreeing with the dominant voice even when you disagree? In society, do you hold beliefs simply because everyone around you holds them? This is what Greene calls the law of conformity, the tendency of individuals to be pulled down by the group, to lose their independent thinking, to become part of the herd. Here's why this matters: the group is always more emotional, less intelligent, and less creative than the individual. Groups reward conformity and punish originality. Groups crush dissent and celebrate agreement. And if you're not careful, the group will slowly, silently, steal your ability to think for yourself. Robert Greene says, resist the downward pull of the group. How? First, become aware of it. Simply knowing that this dynamic exists gives you power over it. When you feel yourself agreeing with everyone, pause. Ask yourself, do I actually believe this, or am I just going along? Second, spend time alone. Greene emphasizes the importance of solitude for developing independent thinking. When you're always surrounded by people, you never hear your own voice. Schedule time to be alone with your thoughts. Third, seek out diverse perspectives. If everyone around you thinks the same way, you're in an echo chamber. Read books from different viewpoints. Talk to people who disagree with you. Expose yourself to ideas that challenge your assumptions. Fourth, develop a strong sense of self. Greene writes, knowing who you are and what you stand for is essential to navigating life's challenges. A strong sense of self gives you confidence and prevents others from manipulating or controlling you. The payoff: when you resist conformity, you develop what Greene calls singular sense of purpose. You become the person who thinks differently, who sees opportunities others miss, who creates instead of copies. The affirmation, I think for myself. I resist the herd. Law number 8, make people want to follow you, from the law of fickleness in the laws of human nature. Here's the final truth about power: true leadership isn't forced, it's earned. Robert Greene says, if you can conjure up the magic called authority, then you will have this leadership power that is absolutely the ultimate power you can have. What is authority? It's when people trust you, believe in you, and want to follow you. You don't have to force them. You don't have to manipulate them. They follow because they choose to. So how do you build this kind of authority? First, realize that no one owes you anything. Greene warns, many people who get a position of leadership suddenly feel entitled to respect. That is a deadly, deadly emotion. This will kill your authority. Whether you're a manager, a parent, or just someone who wants influence, respect must be earned every single day. A title means nothing. Your actions mean everything. Second, work harder than everyone else. Greene advises, set the right tone, work harder than everyone else. When people see that you're willing to do what you ask of them, they respect you. When they see you taking shortcuts while demanding their best, they resent you. Third, have skin in the game. Don't ask people to do things you wouldn't do yourself. If there's dirty work, do some of it. If there's risk, share it. When people know you're in the trenches with them, they'll follow you anywhere. Fourth, be attentive to individuals. Everyone is different. Greene says, be attentive to who people are as individuals. Learn what motivates each person. Understand their strengths, their fears, their goals. When people feel seen and understood, they give you their loyalty. Fifth, and most important, have a vision. Greene emphasizes, most important of all, have a vision for the group. People need to know where they're going. They need to believe the destination is worth the journey. If you can paint a compelling picture of the future, people will line up to follow you. Robert Greene sums it up, you are not entitled to anything. Nobody respects you just because you have a title. They might be a little bit afraid of you, but they don't really respect you in any deep way. You have to earn it. The affirmation, I earn respect every day. I lead by example. Bonus law, advance with a sense of purpose, from the law of aimlessness in the laws of human nature. Before we wrap up, I want to give you one bonus concept from Robert Greene that ties everything together. Greene calls this, the law of aimlessness, the tendency of people to drift through life without direction, and the importance of finding your purpose. He writes, if you don't follow your passion in life, if you just drift, if you simply string along through a series of jobs just to make money, you will end up feeling very unfilled, very unhappy, and burning out. Here's the psychology behind this. Humans need meaning. We need to feel that our lives matter, that we're working towards something bigger than ourselves. When we lack that sense of purpose, we fill the void with distractions, alcohol, social media, drama, relationships that go nowhere. Greene asks a powerful question: what would you do with your day if money was no concern? Take a moment. Really think about it. If you didn't have to worry about paying bills, what would you spend your time doing? What activities make you lose track of time? What problems do you feel called to solve? That's a clue to your purpose. Greene also warns about the consequences of ignoring this. If you're older in life, and you're at a crossroads, and you're feeling frustrated and depressed, and you don't know why, maybe you're depressed not because of other people or your relationships. It might be because you've fallen into a career dead end and you're not pursuing something that connects to you in any way. The solution: be practical, yes. You need to eat. You need to pay rent. But within those constraints, always move toward what excites you. Always choose the path that aligns with your deepest interests. Because here's the truth, if you don't feel emotional about something, you're not going to learn it deeply. If you're not excited about your field, you'll learn at half the rate of someone who loves it. And in a competitive world, half the learning rate means you lose. The affirmation, I follow my passion. Purpose gives me power. Conclusion, master yourself to master your world. We've covered a lot of ground. Let me bring it all together. Robert Greene has spent his entire career studying power, human nature, and mastery. And if there's one lesson that runs through all his work, it's this: the greatest empire you'll ever rule is yourself. Without self-mastery, you're like a ship without a rudder, tossed by every wave of emotion, every criticism, every setback. You react instead of think. You feel instead of strategize. You're controlled by forces outside yourself. But with self-mastery, everything changes. When you control your emotions, no one can push your buttons. When you detach from validation, no one can manipulate you with praise or criticism. When you build a mysterious persona, no one can predict or control you. When you see through masks, no one can deceive you. When you embrace the apprenticeship, you build real, lasting power. When you resist conformity, you develop original thought. When you earn authority, people follow you willingly. When you find your purpose, you have energy that never runs out. This is what Robert Greene means by being untouchable. Not cold. Not heartless. Not disconnected from humanity. But solid. Centered. Unshakable. Life will always test you. People will always try you. Circumstances will always challenge you. That's inevitable. But how you respond? That's your choice. Robert Greene wrote, the ability to control your emotions, and your perspective on life, is the foundation of true power. Start today. Commit to yourself. Build your inner fortress like your life depends on it, because in truth, it does. Every time you pause before reacting, you get stronger. Every time you question an emotion instead of acting on it, you build rationality. Every time you choose the long game over instant gratification, you build mastery. Every time you think for yourself instead of following the crowd, you build independence. These small wins compound. Day by day, week by week, year by year, you transform. You become the person who can't be shaken. The person others respect. The person who controls their world instead of being controlled by it. Your next step, I want you to do something right now. Pick one law from this video. Just one. And commit to practicing it for the next 7 days. Maybe it's Law 1, questioning your emotions before you act. Maybe it's Law 3, saying less than necessary. Maybe it's Law 7, resisting the pull of the group. Whatever it is, write it in the comments. Make it public. Hold yourself accountable. Say, this week, I'm mastering fill in the law. And while you're there, drop your favorite affirmation: I am stronger than my emotions, my worth comes from within, I see through the mask to the truth, I earn respect every day, I follow my passion. Whatever resonates, put it in the comments. Own it. Make it real. Like, share, and subscribe. If this video gave you clarity, power, or courage, here's what I need from you: hit the like button. It tells the algorithm that this content matters. Share this with someone who needs it. Maybe a friend going through a hard time. Maybe a colleague who needs to step into their power. Maybe just someone you care about. Subscribe and turn on notifications. There's more coming: deep dives into power, human nature, mastery, and strategy. You don't want to miss it. Final words: walk out of this video different than you walked in. Walk out untouchable. Silent when silence serves you. Calm when chaos surrounds you. Powerful. Because you've mastered the only thing anyone can truly master: yourself. Robert Greene wrote, "The future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways." You've just learned 8 powerful skills. Now combine them. Practice them. Make them part of who you are. Nothing and nobody will ever shake you again. I'll see you in the next video.